start the meeting?
Did Natalie tell you we have Irma's doing an AV?
Yes.
Verify where she is.
Congratulations.
So we do have one member that is participating remotely, Irma Galicia. We do need your location for our records.
I'm at the Lenox Library, 4343 Lenox Boulevard.
Okay, you got that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So calling to order.
If there's anybody over 18 and their
Is there
relationship,
anybody over 18 in the room with you?
By myself.
Okay, perfect.
then we need an action to accept for
Okay.
2440.
So we need a motion and I think it was Zane and then Rodney.
Yeah. that's
Okay.
what I got. Any opposition? Any abstentions?
You don't need a roll call for that?
I need a roll call after that.
Okay, so now all the votes going forward are gonna be roll call. Okay, so do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
The agenda's been posted.
Yes.
Any changes to the agenda?
No, I would like to remove one item.
Okay, removing one item.
Yes, I want to remove item F because I realized we should discuss the housing trust a little bit, and that's the only place it shows up on the agenda. So I will move it to past item A, I think, on the agency reports.
Okay, noted. Any public comments at this time? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna proceed to the consent calendar.
Tina, who is the second?
Yeah.
Okay,
Roll call vote.
Carson's not present. El Segundo? Yes. Gardina?
Yes.
Hawthorne?
Aye.
Rose Beach? Yes. Inglewood, not present. Lawndale?
Yes.
Lamita, not present. LA City, not present. SD2?
Yes.
SD4 is not present. Manhattan Beach, not present. PV Estates? Yes. RPV? Yes. Redondo Beach?
Yes.
Rolling Hills, not present. Rolling Hills Estates?
Yes.
And Torrance?
Yes.
Thank you.
And that was without item F.
Okay, perfect. Now we are going to move on to presentations, and the first individual is our very own Eleanor Murphy, talking about sub-regional cool roof feasibility study. A little bit of background, Eleanor Murphy is a project coordinator for energy efficiency programs at the COG. She supports the connection of member cities to energy efficient technologies and funding and celebrating them for these efforts. Specifically, she has worked to connect new agencies to the SoCal REN, complete facility equipment inventories of South Bay facilities, track the South Bay Energy and Climate Recognition Program awards, as well as coordinate the Energy Manager Working Group for city staff. Eleanor also supports commercial and residential programs, including implementation of the Commercial Direct Install Program, connecting schools to Kits for Kids, and supporting the Equitable Building Direct Install Program. She also works on communications and event planning. Eleanor graduated with a BS in environmental science and a minor in public affairs from UCLA. Take the floor.
Okay, it's working. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm going to be talking about the cool roof feasibility study that we completed just in December with our consultant, AESC, Alternative Energy Solutions Consulting, Inc. And this study was funded by the SoCal REN through a Regional Partner Initiatives Fund, and really came about because we heard through interest from you all and your staff that cool roofs and cool surfaces were of interest due to their efficacy in reducing greenhouse gases and lowering energy efficiency costs. So, oh, there it is. I pointed over here. Okay. So the project goals were to provide details of cool roof technology, to provide a report on existing research and literature, to develop a list of municipal buildings in the South Bay that are suitable for cool roofs, and then out of those, create up to 15 site plans for the most suitable locations for cool roof technology. A cool roof is designed to lower rooftop temperatures. So cool roof technology includes painting using white paint, other materials of light coloring, and they're measured in their solar reflective index, so their ability to reflect light as it comes from the sun, as well as their thermal emittance, their ability to radiate heat. So both of these combined lead to lower indoor temperatures, lower ambient temperatures around the building, and has co-benefits such as reduction of greenhouse gas emissions due to lower air conditioning load, as well as reducing the urban heat island effect, which is really important, and thermal comfort for staff and residents. Here, it may be hard to see. I wanted to include this so that it's in your packets later, but this is just an example of the cool roof product options. These are compiled and tested by the Cool Roof Rating Council, which is a nonprofit agency. And here on the sheet, you can see the conventional roof types, cool roof types, their associated costs and useful life. So a benefit of cool roofs is that they can extend the lifetime of the roof. And we first asked the consultants to develop a list of criteria for suitable cool roof sites. So I'll just run through them quickly. First, roof condition. Old roofs make more suitable sites for cool roof technologies because the paint or other materials can be added on to planned retrofits. Energy usage is also an important criteria. So buildings with higher electricity use will make better candidates for cool roofs because you can see a greater difference in the reduced load. We chose for this study to only consider conditioned buildings. So while cool roofs do benefit buildings that do not have air conditioning or HVAC technologies, because you will still experience lower indoor temperatures. For this study, we chose only conditioned buildings because you would be able to do a cost benefit analysis using the energy consumption and cost associated with those. So HVAC conditioned buildings. Roof type, color, size, and orientation is also important. So low or low sloped or flat roofs are best candidates, as well as limited tree coverage and existing dark asphalt materials will all make good candidates because there will be a greater benefit to the cool roof technology. And then climate zones. So we have 2 climate zones in the South Bay region. Climate facilities in climate zone 6, which is closer to the coast, are slightly less suitable because they're slightly cooler temperatures, and climate zone 8, which is the inland communities, are slightly more suitable. And then buildings that operate 24/7 or in the event of extreme heat emergencies are also more suitable. So the consultant analyzed 250 South Bay municipal facilities and categorized them as yes, they are suitable, maybe, or not suitable for cool roof technologies. Most sites initially came out as not being suitable. So that is an interesting answer to the question that we posed in this study, that for a lot of South Bay facilities, either due to their proximity to the coast, the existence of HVAC, or their low electricity use, they may not be, or they probably are not suitable for cool roof technologies. So out of the listed, yes, they're suitable, or maybe they would be suitable facilities, we were able to make complete site plans for most of those facilities, but the report is still useful for other facilities just out of interest and to apply the information. Some sites were also removed from the study because of active roof construction. Wait, I don't think it's advancing. Sorry about that. So these were the 14 selected sites most suitable for cool roof technologies in the South Bay. I'll just give you a second to glance over them. And the retrofit recommendations were made through site visits conducted by AESC engineers to each location. And the recommendations for retrofits were split up into roofs that were at or exceeding their useful life. And so a consideration for complete replacement of the roof and then the incremental cost of adding cool roof technology. And then the other side of the coin was roofs that are currently doing well and adding the cool roof technology or paint onto those, which will still extend the life of those roofs. So those were the sort of two different recommendations that sites were split into. And using data collected from city staff, from our staff, and in the site visits, they came up with site plans for every single site. This is an overview of one of the site plans that you can see more of in the final report, but it details the existing condition of the HVAC and the roof, recommendation for the cool roof type, style, and even a detailed timeline of replacement, and then calculations including energy and cost savings, cost of the replacement and payback periods, and solar considerations. Here is another overwhelming looking table that is there for future reference. So it's summarizing all 14 sites. And to summarize what this all says, we found that on average, the estimated annual savings from the cool roof technologies was 10,000 kilowatt hours, with buildings saving annually ranging from $2,000 to $11,000 on electricity bills. Costs for cool roofs were between $87,000 and $150,000. So the payback period for these are high, and we recognize that, ranging from 16 years to 66 years. So through this study, another thing that we found out was that they may not be beneficial in a cost-benefit analysis, but we urge facilities to consider the co-benefits as reasons for implementation. So as I mentioned, reduction of the urban heat island effect and greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, extended roof life and lowered maintenance costs associated with roof retrofits, deferred HVAC upgrades due to reduced load on HVAC equipment, and of course, improved indoor comfort and environmental impact. And we still see those cost and energy savings there. So funding sources that are detailed in the final report, there are no direct funds for a cool roof project, but there are funds for energy efficient or for reduction of energy usage, as well as loan options. So these are detailed here. The California Energy Commission's Energy Conservation Assistance Act, SoCalREN public agency programs, and Edison measured savings programs. I'm trying to run quick. I know we have 10 minutes here. And then finally, solar system considerations are detailed in the report. So solar panels and cool roofs can extend the life of each other by lowering loads and even creating some like shading for the roofs. And while cool roofs have limited financing, solar has a lot of financing options, including the federal investment tax credit, which communities in Southern California get an additional 10% on. So the next steps for this study, we urge cities to adopt cool roofs during routine roof upgrades, utilizing the report and the cost-benefit analysis and incremental cost calculations in their prioritization, and aligning cool roofs with future solar panel needs, using the funding pathways that I identified here. And we at the COG commit to looking out for sub-regional funding opportunities and sub-regional pilot opportunities for cool roof initiatives. And that is the end of my slides. I know I talked fast. Do I have time to take questions?
I have a question actually.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you able to quantify the other cost benefits savings? Because I feel like when you present it, everyone's just going to look at the electricity savings versus if you had like, you know, it lasts this much years longer than a normal roof or whatnot. That would probably be a better talking point.
Yeah, there are quantifications for roof life extensions and even thermal comfort, like, you know, staff members will feel 3 degrees colder, whatever, that are outlined in the literature review primarily. But for future presentations, I can definitely try to, you know, make that into a slide that would be maybe a little bit more convincing.
I think it's just digestible for some people.
Definitely.
Any other questions? Okay, let's go this way. So Debbie, Alex, Zane.
Did in the study, did they look at fire retardant characteristics for cool roof technology?
Yes, those are included in the products that were rated by the Cool Roof Rating Council. The report doesn't detail if those were chosen, like the benefits of choosing those products. I think that they used the most effective, cheapest options for the Cool Roof technologies.
So it's in the roof technology and it's not something that you have to apply after.
Right, it could be a coating, like a silicone coating or painting, things like that.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. The funding source, can we apply for like, say, new roofs for the new buildings that we're building?
There are loan options for those, and then otherwise the funding sources that were pulled here were for the energy side. So if you were to replace another energy technology, and then you could at the same time replace the roof or add cool roof technologies, and then you would see both of those benefits on your bill and would get incentives at the meter for those savings. But funding pathways for roof replacements are not detailed in the report.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Zane, then Rob.
Oh, sorry, I might have missed this at the beginning of your presentation. What's the technology specifically that's cooling the roof? And is it,
It may be just white paint, it can be a silicone coating, it depends on the roof type. So if it's shingles, that would be a different thing than if it's just a flat roof, but it's basically just a light colored surface.
white color, like flat roof?
Yeah. Yeah, nothing too fancy.
Oh, Rob.
The recovery, cost recovery time, as was noted, is very long. 68 years sometimes. Is this solely for commercial buildings and public buildings, or is this applicable to residential also?
This is applicable to residential, and people have been installing it on their own homes, but this was just the municipal side.
Yeah, because that recovery time seems like, well, okay, if it's a municipal building, 68 years, it's not out of the question at all. That's totally feasible. But for a home, roof only lasts 20 years, and you got to redo it.
Right.
And so it seems like it's not as practical for residential. Is there any way to speed up that recovery time, or is just basically money you save on your electric bill and gas bill and so on?
I think that, so the lowest payback period was 16 years. So it depends on electricity usage, HVAC load, HVAC age, things like that. So that would play the same factors in residential use. I personally have not looked into studies on residential cool roof technologies. What we have seen is other public agencies, a lot of schools have also done cool roofs and cool surfaces. So they would have the same criteria, which we outlined, but I don't know what the exact numbers are for residential compared to municipal. They also might be higher since residential has a constant load that's compared to, say, a city hall or library, which has operating floors.
So this, most of these figures and stuff is pretty much for commercial and municipal buildings.
This is all municipal. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, great. I'm gonna hand the mic to Josh.
I just want, before Eleanor leaves, I don't know if she has to go or is leaving the meeting, but she's had a very big day. Yeah, Eleanor, as you might have heard in the introduction, is doing an awful lot of different things for us. And today we put on our 4th or 5th Kids for Kids celebration in the city of Hawthorne. And Eleanor did the whole thing. She facilitated it all. We're really lucky to have people that are so enthusiastic and so willing to learn. And Eleanor is definitely one of them, and she's learning very, very fast because our event today was wonderful, as Alex can attest. And we want to thank you, Eleanor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eleanor.
Thank you so much, Honor. We're going to go along to our second presentation from EJ Caldwell, General Manager, West Basin Municipal Water District. And I'm going to read a bio for him. EJ Caldwell joined West Basin Municipal Water District in 2006 as the agency's legislative analyst. For the past 20 years, he has served as West Basin's Manager of Government Affairs, Manager of Water Policy and Resources Development, Assistant General Manager, and currently General Manager. In these increasing roles of responsibility, he has developed expertise in water supply management, water use efficiency, water policy, and finance. Mr. Caldwell began his career in the California State Capitol, where he served in the Office of Assembly Speaker Herb J. Watson Jr. and continued under Assembly Speaker Fabian Nunez as a policy advisor on legislative and policy issues related to housing and community development, water regulations, and structural reform to the California state budget. After leaving Sacramento, Mr. Caldwell practiced law in Southern California, representing school districts, special districts, and municipalities with a concentration in legislative and regulatory matters. An active member of the California State Bar Association, Mr. Caldwell graduated from Willamette University College of Law with a Juris Doctor and earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from the University of Arizona. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction. I would say most importantly, I'm a very proud South Bay resident residing in Redondo Beach. And so I'm very happy to be here tonight. And I definitely want to say thank you very much for everything that you all do on behalf of the South Bay. I'm here representing the West Basin Board of Directors. Most of you probably know some of them, President Gloria Gray, Director Tommy Favai, our newest board member, Director Desi Alvarez, Director.
Is the button on your?
Click the mic button. I think it should be green. And then.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
I apologize. I won't start all their name again, but I will say Director Don Deere and Director Scott Houston. They are very passionate about water use efficiency and the management of water, and that is why I'm here today. If I'm going to go through these slides, I don't have very many of them, and so feel free to slow me down. We're here to talk about Assembly Bill 1572, which was passed by the California State Legislature in 2023, and it prohibits the use of potable water to irrigate what we call non-functional turf. And that is a term of art, and I apologize. We are going to have to help you navigate this process because it is murky, cloudy, but I think that there's opportunities for us to work together and find the path. The new law applies to local governments, commercial, industrial, educational institutions, and HOAs. It's important to note that it does not apply to residential properties. We get that question all the time. But the first to be impacted are all of you, your cities, those properties that the city operates and runs. So what is non-functional turf? In short, it's turf that you would otherwise not utilize for any public purpose. They're decorative lawns along sidewalks, buildings' edges, unused patches near signage or building entries, lawn and medians, roundabouts, parking lots, or entry signage zones, and then the sloped lawn areas, which in California, most properties have. They'll have that sloped property with that turf there. Those are all considered to be non-functional turf. It's important to note that trees and non-fir plants can continue to be irrigated with potable water. That's the first question that we get, or what about our trees? So those continue to be watered with potable water supplies. But you can see here that mix of a non-functional turf is in there, and that would be prohibited. Examples of functional turf: athletic fields, sports fields, school playing fields, event lawns, pet exercise areas, cemeteries and memorial lawn areas, community parks and game areas, playground areas, and then of course golf courses. Again, the California State Legislature, this law was mirrored after something that Southern Nevada had done, and they saw significant declines in water usage. And it's going to take us some time to get there, but you can see that what we want to do is protect our outdoor space. And I know that in the South Bay and in this Southern California region, open space, outdoor space is crucial. And we don't have a lot of it in a lot of our cities. So protecting it, make sure we're maximizing it is important, but we definitely want to help you out with those non-functional areas. So the phased approach, I mentioned, you all will be the first to be impacted. You can see in January 1st, 2027, public properties owned and managed by local governments will be the first to be enforced. Then in 2028, you'll see that what we call CII, or commercial, industrial, institutional. Then in 29, those common areas, those HOAs, and you can see that they built in a later category for local governments which are in disadvantaged communities. So if your municipality does have areas that are considered to be disadvantaged communities, then you would qualify for that later date. So how will we comply with the law? So in order to comply, you're gonna have to discontinue irrigation of those areas with potable water. If you have recycled water available to you, those areas can still be watered with your recycled water. You can replace non-functional turf areas with climate appropriate landscapes. And you can convert those non-functional turf areas with functional areas. And I'll just use this as an example. I'm going to try to stay away from specific city examples. But if you've ever been to the city of Lomita, the whole front area. No, I think I mean this as I have friends that have a business straight down the street. You can see that the front of the city hall could definitely be functional. They actually have events there. They have trees that are decorated. I've seen a lot of different things out there. And that's an area that could definitely be converted and made more functional. And of course, be excluded from these laws. And I use that as a positive example. So what happens if you don't comply? Well, the California State Legislature has enacted a provision of the California Water Code. You can be subject to civil penalties up to $1,000 per day. Public water systems, cities, counties are authorized to enforce these provisions, and enforcement specifics may vary by water agency. And this is one area that we're going to have to, again, work together on. Unfortunately, in Southern California, we have a lot of different retail agencies. And in this room, you have several of them that represent you or your municipality serves as the retailer. And in those cases, it's going to fall on the municipality to enforce it. And if you have an investor-owned utility like a Cal Water Service Company, Golden State, or Cal American, they're going to help you enforce it.
Is that a fine per area or per city?
It could be per area, because you're going to see, especially as you start to look at those CII, the commercial. Yeah, the city's definitely going to have to work with those commercial industrial areas, and so that could be $1,000 per property. I don't know where I'm pointing, but.
Pointed at me, it's if it
Non-functional liquor. And
there
non-functional
we go.
liquor.
I'll do it for you.
Okay, so we're doing everything that we can to support you. And I would say this, I would encourage this. You all are part of the South Bay Cities Council of Governments. West Basin has an excellent partnership with your organization. I'm very proud of that partnership, and Jackie and the entire team here do an excellent job of vocalizing concerns and anxiety about policies like this. And we try to develop programs that will help meet your needs. And we're trying to do that now. So if you don't see something on this list that could help your city, I would appreciate hearing that from you, because we're always looking to evolve our programs. But currently we offer free landscape design services for any city, any location. We will meet you there. We bring a design company out there. We look at the turf and we can try to figure out exactly what we can do to help you design a usable space or a native landscape space. We offer right now turf removal rebates. I would just say this, if your city is serious about this and ready to act, right now they offer $7 per square foot. That is the highest I've ever seen. I've seen it as low as $2, but $7 per square foot. So if you look at a large outdoor landscaped area, $7 is significant and go a long way as far as completing the project. We also offer outreach education, city outreach mailers and fact sheets. I'm just going to be honest with you. You all have extremely tough jobs ahead of you. When cities take action, I attend city council meetings. I see these city council meetings. I watch them on video. People will come to you and say, well, why'd you remove that grass? I appreciate the grass. And your ability to explain this law and what we're trying to accomplish can be difficult. So if you need West Basin to be at a city council, you need to explain this to the public and explain kind of these programs. We're always happy to do that. and available any Monday or Tuesday, because I know your city council meetings typically are on those days. So a couple of different resources for you, 3 different websites, excuse me. Non-functional turf California, Be Waterwise. All of your cities should be looking at if you can share that with your staff, bewaterwise.com doesn't just provide outdoor irrigation rebates, but indoor as well. And then West Basin, we try to provide, again, programs that will help you meet your needs. But if you get on our website and you find that there's something that you need that's not offered, let us know. So this is just an example of some of the things that we do. And I appreciate when, again, I've visited all of your cities. So I can picture the city hall. I can picture some of the different parks. I know the South Bay fairly well. When people see their grassy areas and those open spaces, they typically, think about how they want to utilize it. Our design team can build it to meet your needs and your expectations. It's amazing what you can do with native landscaping. It's amazing what you can do to turn kind of that unusable space into a usable space, whether it's dog usage and pet usage. The South Bay, of course, not everybody has lawns and yards. So being able to utilize that, what would be non-functional turf, there's a lot of opportunities there. And this is just one example of kind of some of the design features that we try to work with you all on. And that concludes my report to all of you. I definitely want to say thank you very much to Jackie and the entire South Bay COG team. I do want to pledge to all of you when you go back to your cities. I sent out a letter to all of your city managers prior to the new year. Again, we want to work with every single one of you. We want to find an opportunity to help reduce these costs of implementing this legislation. And we definitely want to continue to partner. Every time I hear about a park program or a city development, I always say, well, why were we not involved in that earlier? Because I want to save you money. I want to reduce water. That's my ultimate goal, but I want to save you money. I love the community. I love what I see already, and I want to work with you to make it better and more sustainable. So with that, I'll wrap it up, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions?
Yes, so if there's a small area of grass that is used by the community, albeit not daily, but for events where they set up tables to have events or do like some exercise classes. I mean, does the city have to designate it as a park for
No.
it to have that utilitarian or functional turf aspect?
I would say non-functional turf, you know it when you see it. And I mean that. I've gone to all of your cities and I've seen different areas. I see where tables are typically utilized for different events where people come and get flyers and stuff like that. Small areas, if you can reduce the turf, is helpful anyways, because you typically create a lot of runoff when you're watering a small strip of grass. But if you're utilizing it, that is functional. And I want the city to make sure that they know what they're getting into. When there are grassy areas that you're utilizing, you might be able to do different things with it and make it into native landscaping. But let's work with you to make sure that you have the space that you need for those types of things.
Okay, Alex, then Rob.
I have a question, but not about the cities, but HOAs, right? Because in the past, we apply for the grass removal and they didn't fund the project because it was HOA. So now are you guys going to do that for HOAs?
Yeah, so HOAs in the rebate program are definitely eligible. And so I would encourage them to get ahead of this. I live in an HOA, and sometimes it's a slow process as far as getting stuff like this done. And so I would say engage and continue to monitor it. And I'll use this as an example. We've already visited with a couple of our cities, and the city staff has definitely indicated that they are already working with the COG on a potential grant opportunity to help reduce your costs. There are opportunities to match the funds that the COG might be able to get with rebates that West Basin offers. And so there's opportunities for us to all work together. And HOAs would be the same way, is trying to figure out how you can maximize some of those rebates and some of the programs that are offered.
Thank you.
Rob?
This does include residential, then another HOAs, of course, for larger projects, but for single family residences, they would have to, they do not have to comply with this.
They do not have to comply.
Municipal and larger projects
Correct.
only. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add one thing. So we heard a lot about the municipal property and potential, you've heard me talk about the grant opportunity that we're working on actually with Rivers and Mountains is getting ready to speak. And one of the components of that is to develop a biodiversity plan that looks at the municipal properties and then makes recommendations to the cities on what they can plant that supports biodiversity. And then we can also help facilitate grass replacement working with West Basin. So I wanted to just to let you know that we are working on that. But the other thing is HOAs, of course, is sort of an issue right now, but in 2028, it's going to be your commercial properties. So I think that, if a city is thinking ahead, how are you going to advise those commercial property owners? Because if they just stopped watering, you're going to have, a lot of dead things, throughout the city, right? It's not going to look very appealing. So as much information as that you can make or start thinking about to educate those property owners to get ahead of it so you don't have just a lot of dirt and a lot of dead plants. I think, we would love to help you with that and facilitate that information working with West Basin. So I just wanted to kind of plant that seed for you to think ahead. That's going to take some time to get to those property owners.
Great, thank you. A quick question. Zane?
How are the fines assessed? Like who's imposing the fines and how are they reported? Is it complaint driven?
Yeah, so what they typically do, I'll use the city of Redondo Beach as an example. A Cal Water Service Company will be required to enforce this. And they'll do that in concert with all of you. But ultimately what happens is that as they report up to the State Water Resources Control Board, they ultimately become the hammer, if you will, when it comes to this. And I'm just throwing this out there. The best example, Redondo Beach used to be home to one of the members of the State Water Resources Control Board. So very active in our community and the South Bay in general. But you'll see that first activity from the retailer. So if you yourself, the city of Inglewood, for example, or city of Lomita, Manhattan Beach, El Segundo, that has their retail agency as part of their city, the city will be required to enforce it. For those that contract out, Cal Water would be the one to help enforce it in your area.
Okay, and it's effective immediately or effective January 1st?
January 1st of 2027.
Oh, 27. Okay, we got some time. Thank you.
Okay. Paul, the last question, just because we gotta move on.
In terms of rebates, is there a fixed pot and when's it run out? And is there a cap?
So yes. And this is what I would say is that
I encourage you to apply and keep the faith. Because what ultimately happens when you get when you go out and get a grant and it's in the millions of dollars, what they typically use is a term called it's obligated. So if you get 50 applications for 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 square feet of grass, they immediately start obligating that money because they don't want to overspend on their grant. So they obligate till the funds are exhausted, but then a lot of the applicants drop off. So they have their application, they're reserved, they can get their rebate, but ultimately they don't get the project done or it falls off their radar. Now they open it back up. And so I would say work with your staff, have them contact us. We can expedite it. We just again, I'm not picking on the city of Lomita, but we just met with the city of Lomita and they said, hey, we have a project that we could do. We're scheduling our design services to get out there in this next week. So that happened within 2 weeks. So we can help you out. We can do it pretty quickly, but the idea is get your applications in there as soon as possible because whether it's fully obligated at this point, we always see that they open it back up and there's this kind of this revolving fund of rebates.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're going to move along to our next presentation from the Baldwin Hills and Urban Watersheds Conservancy. David McNeil. Read a little bit of a bio. David McNeil is the Executive Officer of the Baldwin Hills and Urban Watersheds Conservancy, which operates under the National Resources Agencies for the state of California. He oversees the long-term conservation and plan development of open space and parkland within approximately 70 square miles of Southwest Los Angeles County. With over 20 years of real estate, public outreach, and administration experience, Mr. McNeil has helped reimagine the outdoor landscape in underserved communities. Since 2001, he has led a wide range of land acquisition, planning, and design efforts, culminating in the creation of community-based pocket parks, citizen science, habitat restoration, multi-benefit water quality projects, regional recreation facilities, as well as miles of trails, providing access to parkland for the most diverse and densely populated neighborhoods in the state. Equitable access to outdoor resources has been at the core of his work, investing over 100 million of public funding in historically underserved areas. As a founding member of the Los Angeles Neighborhood Land Trust and a supporter of local nonprofits, he has been a driving force behind implementing urban environmental initiatives, such as City of LA's landmark Walking to the Park report, and LA Audubon for All, and LA's countywide parks needs assessment. Through his work, Mr. McNeil strives to bridge community, public, and private partnerships to help sustain new park projects and inspire next generation of open space stewards. David is a graduate of Oregon State University with a Bachelor of Science in Speech Communication and a minor in Human Services. He has served as a member of the City of Los Angeles's Recycled Water Advisory Group, Safe Clean Water Stakeholder Advisory Committee, South Coast Air Quality Management District Environmental Justice Advisory Group, LA County appointee to the Community Advisory Panel for the Baldwin Hills Community Standards District Overlay Zone, Board of Directors for the California Invasive Plant Council, and Board of Directors for Nature Nexus Institute. Thank you.
That has to read all those things. Skip that. Is this working? Green is working. Okay. Thank you, delegates from the South Bay Council of Governments. I appreciate your time. I do want to share where we're at with my agency and our grant programs. I'm sharing my time with the Rivers and Mountains Conservancy. We're both state agencies, so we have a lot of the same objectives. Next slide. Well, I'm going to do my own next slide. Huh? Okay.
If it's working, if not, I can control it.
I'll just say next slide because I'm going to slide down here.
Perfect.
Quick agenda. Really going to introduce myself, David McNeil. You've heard about me, our history, our new territory, the grants that we have, our new program, which is a consolidated grant program, a two-step program, the bond that we have, and our application process. Next slide. Yes. So we're an agency that has been started about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and our main goal is to protect wildlife and protect wildlife, provide recreation and restoration in a territory for public enjoyment. We just recently added the Upper Dominguez Channel and the Southern Boundary Creek Watershed. We are one of 9 conservancies, but we're one of 3 that are based here in Southern California. So that expansion is 70 square miles. We went from 2 square miles, which is the center of this graphic, to the black outline, which is 70 square miles, which includes LA, Inglewood, Hawthorne, Gardena, El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, Santa Monica, Culver City, and unincorporated county areas that you see here in the 2nd District. The lines are interesting. They're done based on hydraulic unit codes, which are the HUCs, they call them, and they're the areas how our storm system has been developed and basically how you're graded on your water quality objectives in terms of non-pollutant source running into the area. So the water code is something that you're adhering to and being compliant with state goals of water, clean water. So that's how our big borders are made. Eligible projects must be in this territory. So, the lines cross over portions of parts areas, but we do partnerships, and that's why it helps to have RMC involved as well as West Basin, because, we're all funding the same areas. We're trying to get rid of the grass and do native habitat and then regreen our places. Yes, thank you. So these watersheds, we cover 3 different watersheds. Part of the Dominguez Channel, which is the upper part, the part of the Biona Creek Channel, which is the middle green part, and then we also cover part of the upper LA River, just the corner of it. Next slide, please. We have three funds available currently, Prop 68, Prop 1, and Prop 4. Prop 4 is the new one that everybody's heard about, so we'll be focusing on that mostly. Next, please. All our grants are reimbursement based. I think everybody knows that. But in the eligible groups are public agencies, Native American nonprofits, as well as public utilities and mutual water companies. Next slide, please. I'm moving quickly so we can share time. The program is the same program I think everybody's using now. It's a two-step program. We call it a consolidated grant program. You basically do an application, which is an idea, a proposal, a concept, and then we take that concept and we look at it, review it, and see which funds it matches up to of the three funds that we have currently. And then we say, hey, we're going to invite you to apply for a full grant. Next slide, please. So the grant program really focuses on 8 areas: empowering safe, resilient communities, increasing biodiversity, mitigating impacts of extreme heat, access to open space, urban forest health, preventing wildfires, protecting and managing water resources, and remediating degraded lands. This is very much in line with the county needs assessment and the needs that we find our community has, and it really fits in well to programs that deal with resiliency. Next, please. So our old money is the Prop 68. We got a small bit of that, but we have about 300,000 to 200,000 left. So we're doing grant rate awards for that in the smaller range. Connecting people with natural landscapes, particularly if you're serving disadvantaged communities. You'll see some of the red and darker areas in this slide that represent those disadvantaged communities, and promoting appreciation for natural resources and addressing threats in terms of wildfire, flooding, and risks for extreme weather. Next slide, please. The Prop 1 grants, that's water quality. We've been dealing with that for quite some time. We have up to $200,000 available for those grants. We're basically partnering with people to improve their smart irrigation and or deal with water management or planning efforts that revolve around climate adaptation, multi-benefit projects, and habitat restoration as well. Next, please. Proposition 4 is the new bond that was enacted a year ago. We're still working on rolling it out. It was the largest bond in California history. The bright orange, the $1.19 million was created for protecting biodiversity and accelerating nature-based solutions. That's the section that all the conservancies and parks have been put in. Next slide, please. Of that money, 48 million is going to the conservancy for the purpose of reducing risk of climate change in communities and fish, wildlife, natural resources, and to increase public access. We are doing smaller grants, $1 million grants during the early period. We have $70 million. We want to roll it out over 70 square miles. We figure we want to spread it around as opposed to dump a large project together for individuals, but there will be larger project grant available in the coming year. So another 22 million is going to be allocated through the Wildlife Conservation Board, and that's what we'll be looking at, creating a larger grant program from there. Next slide, please. So early 2026, we're coming down the home stretch for that in terms of getting these projects going, accelerating nature-based solutions, providing direct meaningful visit to benefits to climate communities. The big deal is that 40% of this money has to go to communities that are in need or high need communities, and we're trying to connect people with open space and natural areas, address climate hazards, and improve watershed health. Next slide. So they're also, like I said, 40% needs to have direct and meaningful benefits to disadvantaged communities and vulnerable populations, and 10% for severely disadvantaged communities. 5% can be available for community access projects that benefit these communities, and they can go towards these 8 different categories. And you'll have this slide show, so you'll be able to look at the categories that we're focused on for the small percentages. Next slide, please. You apply for funding. We tell you to come to a workshop. We have workshops, every 6 or 7 weeks. Read the guidelines. They're on our website. Consult with the staff. We like to have the interaction happen before the grant's submitted. Not like, oh, here's a grant. Well, you should have talked to us because now you have to redo what you did. So getting educated and knowing how to, formulate a grant that fits into the funding sources is something that we can do, and we can do that interactively. Cost estimates, scope of work, stakeholder support, et cetera. Those are all important pieces. Next slide, please. We'll look at the screen, we'll screen these proposals. And it has to be consistent with the guidelines, has to be consistent with the communities, has to deal with the feasible budget and timeline and CEQA compliance. All those boxes are checked. Doesn't mean that you've got CEQA, it means that you have a plan for CEQA. Next slide, please. And then the board will consider if we recommend which concepts staff will consider, and then they'll recommend to the board to put it on the agenda if we want to give you an application for a full grant application. And then we do contract negotiations. We've all been through that. Again, it's reimbursement. And we have a new solicitation schedule. It's year round. You can submit a grant today, tomorrow, anytime. We have workshops, February, April, July, September, and December. And we have board meetings that follow. We take the actions. So that's when the money is awarded. So if you submit a grant application now, our next opportunity will be, I would say January 30th, but we changed that meeting, but March 20th or May 22nd. And we just keep going in and going through. So submit it, complete on time, and we're fine. And this information is good. I'm going to segue over for the time because I don't know how much time I took, but I'll introduce Blair from Rivers and Mountains, and he'll get a bio introduction as well, I'm sure.
No, I had, it was in the files, but Larry can introduce himself.
Apologies, we did not have one ready, but you're welcome to.
Extemporaneous. Well, thanks, David, for giving that presentation. I will try and also be relatively brief with some of my comments. So it sounds like the presentation is not going to load, which is fine. But good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. My name is Blair Crossman on behalf of the San Gabriel and Lower Los Angeles Rivers and Mountains Conservancy. Our executive officer, Mark Stanley, sends his regrets that he's not able to be present here tonight. But we can go to the next slide. See if I can advance. Nope. Oh, maybe I can. Excellent. Rivers Mountains Conservancy, or RMC for short. We are, like our sister conservancy, the Baldwin Hills Conservancy, one of the 10 conservancies within the California Natural Resources Agency. Our territory covers about 1,800 square miles of Los Angeles and Orange County, with the San Gabriel, Lower Los Angeles River, Lower Dominguez Channel watershed, as well as Santa Catalina Island. Notably, we do overlap with most of the constituent communities of the South Bay Cities Council of Governments, with the notable exception of portions of El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, and Redondo Beach. To date, we have awarded nearly $300 million in grant funds through a combination of bonds and budget funds, primarily around parks access, open space access, watershed protection, habitat conservation, and climate risk mitigation. We are an urban conservancy, over 4.8 million residents in our territory, and 1.86 million of those are in disadvantaged communities or severely disadvantaged communities. What this means is that environmental justice is really at the core of the work that we do. We try and prioritize that through all of our funding. We want to look for ways that we can bring up the community needs and center that through our grant making. I'm going to move a little quicker here than normal. Tribal consultation policy. This is something that we have adopted as of 2017. We do ask that all the folks that we work with also engage tribes meaningfully throughout the process of that grant making. It does not have to be a formal process through AB 52, but it does mean that it would be beneficial for tribal perspectives and voices to be incorporated in the project ideation process. Climate change. This is the multi-million-dollar question. This is really the crux of a lot of the work that the Rivers and Mountains Conservancy prioritizes throughout our region. Anything that touches on water security, clean water, clean air, community well-being, that adaptation to climate hazards, those are going to be a lot of the projects that we are going to be prioritizing in our funding. As David mentioned, if you are a public agency or a 501c3 nonprofit, you are eligible to submit an application for our funding. We do encourage multiple applicants or joint applicants. That helps us to see that this project is benefiting multiple jurisdictions, multiple types of beneficiaries. Any kinds of projects that create and expand or improve access to open space, that build resilience or community resilience to wildfire, to improve habitat quality, improve watershed quality. Those are going to be the kinds of projects that our bonds are going to be able to fund. Most importantly, we only have about 20% of our funds allocated to planning efforts. We do like to see that those project dollars go primarily towards the implementation or development of a project, some kind of capital connection, or acquisition projects. If one of your cities is looking to acquire a plan for a new park, for example, the Ravens Mountain Conservancy loves to help out with those projects. So as discussed, planning projects are an example, implementation or shovel-ready projects. Notably, 20% of our implementation project funds can also go towards pre-construction costs that can include permitting, community engagement, CEQA compliance, you name it. Acquisition projects, same thing. We will fund any kind of due diligence associated with that acquisition, as long as you've got that willing seller and the purchase price cannot exceed fair market value. This is a technical assistance program. RMC staff really likes to work hand in hand with the applicants to ensure that we know how to best support your community's needs. We're not just going to take the application that you send in to us, and if it doesn't fit into the square boxes that we've allocated for you, we'll throw it in the trash. No, we want to make sure that the project gets done. We want to make sure that we work with you all to make that happen. Again, some examples of some projects that we funded in the past. I'll say urban greening, really anything within the connection to natural infrastructure, nature-based solutions, that is going to be prioritized strongly. We do also fund projects with a gray or traditional infrastructure component, but that green infrastructure, that planting, ways to look for natural solutions to the climate crisis are going to be prioritized. This is a project that we recently funded in the SBCCOG's jurisdiction in the city of Rolling Hills Estates, $424,000 to the construction of a new nature center and some related native planting in Georgia Canyon Preserve.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Project budget, again, our awards typically range from about $300,000 to $2 million. We have gone above that, we have gone below that, but this is just a kind of a rough ballpark range. Matching funds, we love to see indirect costs. This is something that the funding sources we have access to cap 15%. And we do allow for advanced payment as long as we figure that out before the grant starts. We cannot change those terms of payment throughout the course of the grant. Ineligible project types, we cannot fund playgrounds. We cannot fund food and drink. A couple of other things like that. Another one that comes up frequently is mitigation projects. We cannot fund anything that is going towards mitigation. David very aptly discussed some of the bond funds that we have, so I'm going to skip over this. I will say that RMC is likely going to be receiving somewhere around $15 million for Proposition 4 region-wide, including both last fiscal year and this fiscal year. We're hoping to start rolling out those dollars in Q3 of this year. We do have access currently to a lot of wildfire prevention money. I know this is an issue in the Palos Verdes Peninsula, so if any of your constituent communities have needs that are around this area, please come and talk to us. Like Baldwin Hills Conservancy, we have a multi-step process. The first is you submit a concept proposal. This is a short 4-page document, just talks a little bit about high-level budget. What does the project needs? Where is this coming from? Generally, how long do you think it's going to take? You don't have to identify a funding source. We will help you work through that process. This is what it looks like. If your application is selected to advance to the full application stage, then staff will reach out and coordinate to pick which funding source makes the most sense for that one. One of the multiple bonds that we have access to, we will then vet that full application and bring it to our board for approval. These are the criteria that our staff uses to evaluate those projects. Anything that gets about a 70% or more would be considered competitive. Again, really highlighting those multiple benefits, multiple jurisdictions, connection to environmental stewardship and environmental justice is going to be on a good bet. And that wraps it up for me. And I think David and I are happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions at this time?
I don't have a question, but I have a thank you to David for the Baldwin Hills Conservancy because they did fund one project in Hawthorne, the Holly Park. So thank you very much for that grant.
Our pleasure.
Okay. I think we have a question online, Irma.
Sorry, it's also not a question, it's just a comment. David, thank you. Our office has been working closely with Daniel. We were able to bring back our Lennox Community Garden after 10 years of it being shut down. So for all the cities who are interested, they have been amazing partners, and I just want to say thank you.
Oops, okay.
Okay, well, thank you both so much. We appreciate, oh. Cedric?
I just had a quick question. For all the slides that we've been seeing this evening, can we get those sent to us? Thank you.
Yep.
Which is our man. Okay, thank you both. So we're gonna move along to our next presentation. We're going to have Earl Vasquez talk about time-limited subsidy program recap. A little background about Maroli. Maroli joined the South Bay Cities Council of Government in November 2025 as a homeless services project coordinator. He supports meetings, case conferencing with community providers, and budget-related work focused on improving local homeless response efforts. She brings over 10 years of case management experience working with a variety of vulnerable populations, which include family/individuals facing homelessness, mental health and substance use challenges, justice involvement, and immigration-related barriers. Maroli holds a bachelor's degree in social work from Portland State University and brings lived experience that shapes her practical, compassionate approach to this work. Maroli lives in San Pedro, enjoys baking and taking care of her 5 dogs, which is a hobby and a lifestyle. Take it away.
Maroli is here because, just as you know, this is homeless count night, and Ronson and Addie are both at the homeless count.
I'm going after this.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So this is just short and sweet. So it's just going over what CLS is. So it's time limited subsidy. So it's designed to quickly move people experiencing homelessness into permanent housing by providing short-term rental and deposit assistance. So this is intentionally time limited and focused on stabilization. So it's helping individuals and families regain housing, rebuild financial stability, and transition off assistance so that they can remain housed independently and avoid returning to homelessness. So it's not a longer term subsidy like Section 8. And you probably also recognize this as a program through LASA. And it is a little bit different through us because it's not a 2-year program like it has been traditionally through LASA. We're doing it typically at around 3 months at a time and then revisiting the contracts around that time. So. There we go. Okay, so we also have a little case study of a family who is currently on TLS who has had success, and they are on their way to exiting our program. So it's Leonardo and his wife who live in a 2-bedroom apartment. So they were referred to us from the city of Torrance. And when they came to us, they were struggling to pay their rent after he did lose his second source of income. His wife was also pregnant at the time, and it was a high-risk pregnancy. So she could not work at that time either. So we did provide short-term rental assistance, stabilization support, and allowing them to remain housed while they navigated this uncertain and stressful time. They also are working with the case manager at the city of Torrance to ensure that they're meeting all goals set forth through our TLS program, which includes budgeting, housing planning, increasing their income, and any other needs or support that they might need. So again, they've been able to regain stability and they're doing really well. So this is a very positive case study that we're bringing here. And let me do the list. Okay, and these are just our final thoughts on TLS. So where are our clients coming from? We serve all 34, TLS has served 34 households so far this fiscal year in the South Bay. So 26 households have successfully exited our program so far, and 8 are currently still active. So they come all over from the South Bay, including Carson, Lennox, Inglewood, Hermosa, Harbor, Wilmington, San Pedro, Lomita, PV, and Torrance. So again, this is supposed to be short term. And when we did the data, it was about a medium of 4 months of assistance that they were receiving. And currently we've carved out $500K of Measure H funds for this program. We don't know what's going to happen with the program, considering that Measure H it will no longer be viable next week, and we are not next week, in the next fiscal year, and everything is moving towards Measure A. So again, that's still uncertain for the next fiscal year.
This is a program of our COG.
Yes.
So not everybody does this. This is something that we're doing with our money. or you're doing with your money, I should say.
That's the end of the presentation.
Okay, great. Are there any questions? Okay.
Very good.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, so we're gonna change the agenda around a little bit. A few people have to go, and by popular demand, we're going to move item D up, transportation reports. So we can talk about today's big meeting.
We have a lot on the agenda.
We do have a lot on the agenda, so I'm not gonna try to speak too much on this, but who is giving the report?
Well, I don't know.
Andy's here, but I'm happy to do that.
Is Mike Bulkey here?
Mike Bookie is, I don't think he's here.
He's online.
Oh, is he online? Is Mike online?
I'm here.
Okay, do you want to give a report on today's Metro meeting? Very
Sure.
fast.
And I'll give deference to Irma, but we had a incredibly long meeting. We spent well over an hour on the Sepulveda corridor, which was just everybody coming up and extolling the virtues of the Sepulveda corridor and what it will do for the entire region. And then we spent about 2 hours on the C line extension, which is now going to be called the K line, and discussing the motion brought in by Supervisor Mitchell, Sandoval, and Butts, and and I'll turn it over to Irma to let her give you a little rundown on the motion that Supervisor Mitchell brought in with a really excellent background and advocacy. But Irma, do you want to go ahead and speak for your boss?
Oh, yes, definitely. And I'm sorry to everyone. I'm actually running a deployment site for the homeless count right here at our Lenox office, which is why I couldn't be there in person. But thank you to all our partners. Today really does mark a historic day for the South Bay. This was the only rail project included in Measure M. And it was officially approved unanimously through the board, which was to support Supervisor Mitchell of the Hawthorne Boulevard option. Honestly, just thank you to everyone. Thank you to our cities. Thank yous for everyone who was really calling. There was people who were bussed in, and just the amount of support that we got was amazing. So I really just want to say thank you. I know my colleagues Annie and Manny possibly reached out to many of you, and they also couldn't be there today just because it was a very long Metro board. But we're eager to see this project move forward along Hawthorne, working hand with our South Bay cities to deliver transportation investment in our communities. And just thank you to everyone, and we really do appreciate the support.
Well,
Okay, we can go back to the report, the cliff notes. Okay, are we done? Okay, any comments anybody wants to make? Zane?
I guess, I mean, it's incumbent to say, we're hugely appreciative to our Supervisor Mitchell, because her motion captured everything that you've heard from all the residents who've come before us, talking about consuming the right of way, the dangerous substances that are there, buried under there in pipes, carried there on freight, the potential toxic soils being dug up, and how that's a respite place, the open space there for the folks in Lawndale. So she captured it beautifully in her motion, and it was easy for everybody else to hop on it, even though it's very challenging, and you don't see it too often, for the Metro Board to buck the staff. And I think staff was pretty disappointed, but the Metro Board stuck by their guns, and even Supervisor Hahn, she had nothing to lose by voting yes or against the motion, because she'd be supporting Torrance, but she also saw the light in the Hawthorne alternative. And Redondo Beach had supported the motion and even expressed that we were going to support, the business expansion, the expansion of the business interruption fund for Torrance businesses that are affected, that will support them on first and last mile solutions and seek funding for that. And then when we come to the Measure M decennial process, we'll support trying to get the project funding. So that's a hugely appreciative to the partnership between Lawndale residents and Redondo residents and government. So,
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
and thank you, by the way, to Hermosa Beach Hawthorne for your letters of support, because every single thing contributed to the outcome today, including obviously Mayor Butt's huge support.
Yes, if I might add to that, Mayor Butts had, in his comments, emphasized that he'd always been the supporter of the Hawthorne, and that
Michael, you got to tell us you're not a cat.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I can't hear on these microphones. So you have me at a disadvantage. But what he was saying was that, as Supervisor Mitchell mentioned, that this has been a project that's been on the boards for about 40 years. And what it boiled down to was for Mayor Butts is to you support the Hawthorne and to support the community. And that was basically the foundation of his support. And it was an interesting meeting. And the board voted unanimously in the end to support this alternative and to move forward. So I don't think the COG will be having too much more problem with the people who would come at every transportation meeting and speak on behalf of the anti-row. So unless anybody has any questions, I'll segue over to Andy.
No comments from me.
Thank you.
Alex?
I just want to make a comment that even Congresswoman Maxine Water called me last night asking about what was going on about the things I explained to her. So because they reached out to her to get some federal dollar for the project. So I said for her to wait for the board meeting this morning, and then I said that it would go forward, right? And I saw Jim Butt yesterday, so I said, tomorrow, you know what to do.
Good to know that you have full. Okay. Thank you. We're gonna move along real quick to micromobility programs and projects before we jump back to A. Who's giving the micromobility update?
Jake, can you do that? Okay,
Okay,
Ann,
Anne.
let's go up to the podium, Ann.
Greetings go. So for the local travel network, we are continuing to support the city of Lomita with their implementation. We have a traffic calming workshop that will be attending this Saturday. Design is underway in the city. For Carson to the Sea, which is a gap analysis for a long-term planning project, looking at local travel network gaps between the cities of Carson, Lomita, and CD15. Our consultant team is wrapping up the existing conditions report and will start to draft design recommendations and policy recommendations that will be coming to your city staff starting this spring. And then we will also be engaging the elected officials starting probably late this fall, going into early next year. We wanted to note that we will be publishing a special edition of our Turtle Talk newsletter that will cover all of the e-bike legislation that has gone into effect January 1st, 2026. So that's it for LTN, and then Jake will come up and give some updates about our mobility hubs, REAP projects.
Any question? When is the newsletter going to be out?
End of this month.
Thank you.
Yes.
Will it be distributed by email to all of us, or how will it be distributed?
Yes, via email through our newsletter system. If you're not on the list, I will add everybody in this room.
You have, every elected official should be on the list.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I will. I'll quickly give an update on our 2.0 projects through SCAG. The first one is our Mobility Hubs project. This one has had a little bit of a delay due to SCAG has implemented required metrics. We got these last week and they're due on February 3rd. So just a short notice of those, we've had to put a couple of things on pause for 2 weeks to report on them. So we're working on those metrics. However, just a reminder, this project is looking at implementing, or not implementing, but planning implementation roadmaps for 6 mobility hubs around the South Bay. Due to the low transit ridership within the South Bay, these projects are especially focused on micromobility and connecting other forms of long-range travel to those local travel modes that supplement and add to the transit infrastructure that's in the South Bay. We will be leveraging existing programs such as the South Bay Fiber Network and the local travel network. Specifically with the fiber network, we're looking to make these mobility hubs a third space in the community, bringing in digital assets such as telehealth, teleeducation, and if possible, even looking at applications for viewing centers for the amount of games, Olympics, World Cup that we have coming up. The second project for REAP 2.0 is commercial redevelopment. All sites have been finalized and identified. Our partner cities on this project, Hawthorne, Torrance, and Carson, each identified 2 sites that they wanted analyzed for development. These are underutilized commercial properties. Currently, the fit and feasibility analysis by Cosmont is underway to look at the different typologies that Studio 111 has put together and is forming conceptual designs for, and looking at how these different policies may pencil out. Studio 111 is, as I mentioned, looking at multiple typologies, mixed residential with some commercial, as well as high density multifamily, townhomes, a number of different form factors that could fit on what type of streets they're on, their proximity to high densities of destinations, civic centers, businesses, all of these factored into that tool. And this tool will be available to all the cities at the end. It is a very, very friendly user-friendly web-based GIS service. It's not through GIS, so anyone can just simply enter the link that we will provide to you. And it has a number of layers such as FAR, building age, as well as all of your RENA allocations in there. And you're able to toggle through what filters you want on, what is important to you, and it will deliver out all the commercial sites within the South Bay, or if you're specifically looking at a region or a city, that might be suitable for redevelopment based off the filters you provided. So that's something we're going to get out of this project, that the COG will be able to continue to update with relevant information and up-to-date data and continue to provide to the cities.
I wanted to add on to what Jake said about the the delay in the project, because this is an HCD issue and we all love HCD. So I wanted to tell you about what's going on. We were funded about a year ago, and we signed a contract. We signed a contract with SCAG, got our money, funding agreement, the whole business. And now in December, they have performance measures that we are supposed to comply with that actually have nothing to do, in some cases, with the project that we're talking about. So Jake is trying to figure out with SCAG staff how you put square peg in a round hole. It's something that I can easily identify with is the housing trust, which also has this problem because HCD wants to know they funded the formation of a housing trust and they want to know how many houses were forming with it, which is a metric that makes no sense whatsoever. So we are arguing about all of this right now, and a year into, he's trying to figure out, we've already set the budget, we have no money to tell the consultants to stop working and do this. And anyway, it's part of the bureaucracy that makes all of this so unworkable, really, and doesn't really help us get to any of the product that they're trying to get to. So Jake's been doing a great job and trying to get through this, but we're having this problem on all 3 of the projects that we've had funded by SCAG.
Can I answer any questions?
Any questions at this time?
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. We're gonna move back to our voting items. So really quickly, do you want to give the update or? We no longer have a second vice chair position, long story short, so we are opening up for nominations. And yeah, to vote on next board meeting. So I need a motion and a second.
To open up
Nominations.
Motion to open nominations.
Second.
Debbie and Sedge.
Yeah, me.
Okay, and roll call vote.
Carson, I'm gonna pass that.
Carson.
Carson, the aye. Aye. El Segundo. Aye. Voting on. Bernina. Hawthorne. Aye. Los Beach. Aye. Inglewood's not present. Mondale.
Aye.
Lomita, not present. LA City, not present. LA County, District 2.
Aye.
District 4, not present. Manhattan Beach, not present. PV Estates. Yes. Rancho Palos Verdes.
Yes.
Redondo Beach.
Yes.
Rolling Hills.
Yes.
Rolling Hills Estates.
Yes.
And Torrance no longer there. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna pass it. Anything else?
Oh, no, our next item is the JPA interest.
Okay. JPA interest.
Yeah, so this is where I move the JPA interest. I wanted to tell you about where we are with the trust JPA. We have one city that actually has approved, and that's the city of Lawndale. We made a presentation there, and they approved it. We are making consult presentations to, I was gonna list all the cities, but I better to list the cities that we don't have. We don't have Carson. And we don't have Palos Verdes Estates or Rolling Hills, which I'm not sure I'm going to agendize them because they're not really, they're not first tier trust kind of cities. So my concern is Carson right now. And then there seems to be some question about the date that we have in Gardena. So we're going to follow up with Carson and Gardena. We need 4 cities to establish the trust. We have one. We have been told that it will be on the Lomita agenda, from the city managers, Lomita agenda on February 3rd with a recommendation approval. It will be on the Hermosa Beach agenda with a recommendation approval, and it will be on the Torrance agenda with a recommendation approval. If that happens, we have a trust, obviously, because that's 4 cities, and that would be by March 10th. So we know that either by March 10th or before, if things hold, we will have a trust. Knowing that, we sort of, had this reality shock, like we better think about what it means to have a trust. And what it means is, first of all, we're getting money from SCAG to do the formation. That money runs out in June. So we want to use as much of that to do this work as we can. The consultant we have has a lot of information. He is the consultant that helped form the Gateway Trust. And so we need policies, procedures, we need a regular meeting date, we need conflict of interest, we need procurement, you need policies to set up an agency. What we decided as the staff, and I'm sort of bringing this to you to let you know, but please let me know if you think this is unworkable. It seems to me it would be not correct for us to not wait for as many cities as want to join the trust to join the trust, because I don't want 4 cities coming in and deciding all of these issues, and then everybody else joins, 3 weeks later. That doesn't make any sense. So what I've told the city managers is that we would like all cities that are intending to have any feeling that they want to join the trust to do it by March 30th. And we will have the first meeting of the trust on April 23rd. April 23rd is the day of the April board meeting here. And what I was thinking is we would have that meeting at 4 o'clock on April 23rd. And then one of the items of that meeting will be to set a regular meeting date. I mean, we can't do anything for this board. This board's gonna have to make all these decisions. So we need, not only by March 30th, do I want to know who's in the trust, but I want to know who the delegate is from every city so that we can get started. It is it appears to me when you look at other trusts that they do not meet every month. Once they get up, they're meeting to work on projects. If they don't have a project, they're not going to meet. But it seems to me that our trust should meet at least for 3 months, April, May, and June. In each of those meetings, I would like to have a study session because it's clear to me, from my own knowledge, from watching the city managers yesterday, from even looking at the community development directors and from knowing all of you, that we need to know a lot more. We need to know what a master leasing program is like. What is the first time home buyer program? What is a soft loan? What are all these things? And I'd like to bring in people who will be able to say how the trust, maybe we can bring in other trusts, but how this trust is going to make decisions and how what kind of projects are going to come to it and what tools would be the right tools to adopt to use. And I think we need a couple of times to do that, to all sort of, and the city manager said, can we come? I mean, there's just a whole lot of people that need more knowledge. And when we started this, as you all know, for those of you who've been here a while, I think we started this backwards. We should have had all that first, but that was not our decision. So we are where we are. So that first meeting, this is my plan. The first meeting is formation and study sessions. And then the other thing that came up yesterday, and also today, which was really interesting. Today I met with the community development directors. Yesterday was the city managers, is that there are cities, all of you are going to be required to do affordable housing. So Manhattan Beach isn't here, so I'll use them. Manhattan Beach is getting a lot of affordable housing now. And with affordable housing, you have to do income certification and compliance. They will have to staff up to do income certification and compliance. It's like every city that does this is going to have their own staff to do these functions. It doesn't make any sense. And so I said to the community development directors, and we'll work on this, is there some way that the COG can hire those people, maybe turn them over to the trust, or the trust can hire those people, but every city that doesn't have those people should be able to use the trust or the COG to do all that income certification and all that compliance and figure out how to do that. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing. We think we want to do it through the trust because they're going to have the money to hire all these experts that will be able to do that.
So that's exactly why a city like mine should join the trust.
Right.
Because the staffing that a trust, everybody has to do affordable housing, and we would have to staff up. And this is why a city like ours, who's meeting our numbers, should join the trust.
Right. It's technical assistance, and we are saying that, and as I said, as you all know, the first year of the trust is, there's no cost. And we think we have enough money every year, but that's a decision of the trust board, which I cannot make, you cannot make. The trust board will have to decide their budget every year. So I think that's why cities are joining, because it is no cost. You can drop out, and it has tools that we don't even know yet that you'll be able to use. And we are going to work very hard on this income certification and compliance issue, because that one makes all the sense in the world.
And you forgot to mention that the Hawthorne, we're gonna vote on Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday?
Yeah,
Oh, and that's a vote. Okay.
27th, so you're gonna be
Yeah.
there.
I have so many dates on my calendar. I know. Well, I mean, I think we're going to be there before the 4. I know. I haven't talked to anybody in Hawthorne. Is there a recommendation to approve?
Yeah.
Okay. That I wasn't sure about that. So then we won't have to wait for Hermosa. We'll have it before then. Yeah. Okay. So we will have a trust. I mean, I guess that's what I think I need to tell you all. And I hope, Cedric, you'll help me with Carson. And like I said, you don't have to join. I don't care if you join, but please, let's have a presentation. And I understand that cities like Palos Verdes Estates and Rolling Hills might not even want to have a presentation at this time. I've talked to your manager about it. So I think that I wanted to tell you all that. I wanted to tell you what our calendar is, because the date is important. I don't want anybody to come in on April 23rd and say, we didn't join yet. Don't do any of the rules and procedures. We got to get going. We're going to do this.
You're going to Redondo, right?
We're going to Redondo. Yeah, you said I have the date. If I didn't say your name, I'm coming. Yeah, February 3rd, I think.
We moved our date.
March 3rd.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that just happened today.
I know you talked to Daryl. Is there any?
Yeah, we're
There is
going to
coming up.
you.
Okay, so I do have a question though.
Sure.
What you're mentioning is that the first year is free, but if you look at this holistically, you're it starts April 15th or April 23rd, right? When you said it's gonna take a year just to ramp up policies, procedures, background checks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's really nothing in that first year that it's gonna take that long to get it started up.
Well,
When you meet once a month, that's what's gonna happen.
no, but what I think the issue we have though, And the reason why I want these study sessions is we already have money. We're getting $13 million.
Okay.
And so we have an obligation from La Casa to start obligating that money, or it goes back into the regional pot.
So you gotta obligate in this first year, so we're gonna kind of be doing everything at
We're
the same
jumping
time.
around at the
Okay,
same time.
all right, I got you.
And we do have right now we have requests, because we asked cities, because we were thinking, why do we have to form a trust? Let's see what we can do ourselves.
Yeah.
And we ask cities, and we have Hawthorne and Inglewood who have projects. And I would like to wait until we have a trust, since we're close enough, because then the trust can make a loan. If it's the COG can only grant, and we won't get that money back.
Gotcha.
So those are the kinds of things, if a project comes up, we're gonna want to deal with it, and we're not controlling that process. The other thing you all should know, and I hope you all know it, is that the trust cannot fund a project that is not approved by the city it's in. So we're not going to any city and saying, this developer and us had this great idea, let's come in here and build a project. So that's the trust.
You'll have a recommendation. Also gonna be a recommendation to form as well.
Okay, so I'm cautiously optimistic that by the first week in February, we'll have a trust. But I think I'm trying to
Gotcha.
give you that opportunity.
Bill's gonna stand up.
Oh, Bill? I'm sorry.
There we go. He said we did that.
Yeah. Oh,
Bill? Do you find the unmute button?
I'm on.
Oh, there you go. We can hear you now.
Okay, so I appreciate you guys coming to the Lomita City Council this past Tuesday. My only question was, you mentioned that we're gonna identify the delegates or whatnot for each of the cities to the trust. Are you anticipating when the cities approve participation in the trust that they would also at that time identify the delegate as well?
not necessarily.
It's not required, but it's helpful, I think.
Well, we don't need it till March 30th, so we know who to notify about the meeting. Or, I'd like to give a notice to who the delegates are, what's going on.
Well, yeah, the reason I bring it up is if it's coming to the council and the council is approving being a participant in the trust, it might be prudent to identify the delegate at that time as well, so it doesn't have to go back to the council for that discussion.
I can mention that. Each of the cities is sending me the staff report, so I can look at the staff reports and mention that.
Okay.
And that's what Londell did right away too, just to pick someone.
Can I ask a question? Let's say the city decide, okay, since Alex is SBCCOG already delegate, so can it be also the representative on the trust?
It's the city's
So
decision.
is our
There's no
discretion.
restrictions at all.
Okay.
Yeah, you decide who you want.
All right.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we're moving on to homeless service.
Homeless services,
Please give an update.
well, tonight's the homeless count, and so we're a little lean there. We're working really hard. We just hired, yesterday, we hired a woman who is going to be a financial analyst, because now we have so many contracts with nonprofits and everybody else. And so we just need somebody to help, and her primary role will be to work on some of these homeless services contracts so that we can get our reporting in and everything. So we're trying to address as fast as we can the growth of what's going on. Kevin is here, and he can tell you about the letter that we're asking you to sign. It's right here, right? Yeah, there's a letter on the agenda, and this is what I just mentioned. The City of Hawthorne has asked us for a measure for a conditional approval of a project. We obviously can't approve anything, but they are trying to get grant money, and so they want something which is sort of like loosey-goosey. The letter says, I think if you read it, that nothing formal can be done until the board votes, and this is just saying, the recommendation will be that we give the money. So Kevin, do you want to?
Hi everyone, Kevin Wani here, Housing Project Coordinator. After this, Jackie, I can also give an update on the housing side of our measure implementation. But the letter that you all see before you today, it states, for some context, La Casa has allocated us $7 million for affordable housing production, preservation, and ownership. And in September, we did a call for projects to all of our cities to get a feel of what kind of projects are out there. We mostly got mixed income projects, market rate with some set aside of affordability, affordable units, but we got two viable projects that meet the La Casa's requirements for funding from the city of Inglewood and city of Hawthorne. And this project, City of Hawthorne, is being developed by Boat Communities, a well-respected developer, and it is being managed by the city itself and the city planning department. I believe that the city council is going to meet on the 27th to do the DDA approval. That's correct. I see you
Correct.
nodding.
Yeah, it's on the agenda, yes.
But this is a great project. It is located at 14115 Cordary Avenue. It is a 93 affordable house, 100% affordable housing, 93 units, ranges of income from $31,000 a year to 114,000, 54 parking spaces. And you know, the city of Hawthorne's already provided a commitment of $6 million. And this project is going to be applying to the La Casa NOFA, which the deadline is Tuesday, to provide additional funding. And essentially a boat came to us with the city of Hawthorne to asked us to provide support and to potentially provide funding. And before we provide funding, you know, we hired a consultant to help us do a strict underwriting of the project to see if it's viable and to provide a recommendation. But the letter before you today is a general letter of support for the project. And that is because in the La Casa NOFA scoring criteria, there's a scoring criteria that says for X amount of public dollars invested, you get X amount of points. And they've already met that threshold. They've met that scoring criteria point. So there isn't necessarily need for us to provide a certain commitment amount today. We were just providing a letter of support to go and a part of their application packet. So that is the letter that you see in front of you today.
Okay, B.
Yeah, so I'm reading the letter and then looking at what it was called on the agenda. It describes it as a letter to provide conditional approval to support the housing project. Nothing against Hawthorne, but what are the conditions? If it's a conditional approval, what are those conditions? Because if we're talking about that the COG's going to have a trust and it's more cost effective for us to loan the money through the trust than to give them the money, then is this something that is binding us to this project because you write this letter, and what are the conditions?
I think in the last paragraph, it says that, to me, the condition is that the board has to consider it or it can be approved. It's a statement of support and approval that it's saying that we approve, that we would have, that after the project is evaluated, because we have hired a consultant already to evaluate the project. And that's being done right now. And after that evaluation is done, we get a green light. It would be our intent to go to the board and then ask the board if they would agree to approve it.
And B, this is Alex from Hawthorne. No, let me tell you that the survey is not going to be a binding thing because the project will go forward without support of the COG, because this is a project that's been in place. It's in the works for at least 2 years, right? And it will be developed. So what we will want is, because that money from La Casa have to be allocated by June 30, 2026. That it was about $5 million, correct? And if that money was not being identified to a specific project, we will lose that money.
Okay, but I understood from what Jackie said that, or actually, this young man, whoever he is, that this is something they've already satisfied. Hawthorne's already satisfied because you're putting in 6 mil.
Correct.
And so to me, I don't want it to be something where we are losing maybe an option. There's been some kind of commitment that I understand that the board of directors can say no, but I mean, if we're pretty much in a posture where it would be difficult to do that for any rational reason, then that's an issue that might require us to commit these funds, even if it would be more profitable to, let's say there is a trust to expend it that way, especially since they don't really need it to be able to satisfy La Casa's guidelines.
But I don't think that money can go to that trust, the one that is allocated until June 2026.
I don't know why not.
I don't know. I don't know if it can go to the trust or not.
Yeah. That money.
But I
cannot
mean,
go.
I just don't want it to be, something where there's some kind of, approval, even if it's labeled conditional, if it's really not needed for, and we're gonna maybe exclude options that would be more
I think the issue is
effective for the.
that when it goes to La Casa, which is a countywide agency, they want to know that the local area is not opposed to the project. And so we're saying that if they were to need the project, the money, we support their effort. We support what they're trying to do. And we want to give them, something to put in their packet that says, if they need money, they can come back to us, but we support them and we support them at La Casa so that they know that we're on their side.
Okay, then,
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry, Debbie did have a, okay.
No, Jackie's comments helped.
Okay,
So if I'm reading the tea leaves right, if I'm hearing it correctly, what it means is these two projects have already met the criteria that's been set, right? On the La Casa level. Is that what?
Yeah, there's points that La Casa's met, but I want you to know that we have a concern. Okay.
I understand. What I'm saying is that right now, is there anything else in the South Bay pipeline that you'd be able to allocate the funding towards during the year it needs to be allocated?
Possible.
Okay. So that's why there's conditional. It's conditional, assuming it meets the approval of the board that's going to be formed. So we're kind of chasing our tail a little bit, trying to get things done quickly, but in the end, that money can really only be split up between 2, maybe 3 projects maximum anyway in this calendar year.
And for us, for the
Gotcha.
South Bay.
And then follow the subsequent year, it resets and you start again with whatever new project.
You can see that we're trying to, I mean, this money has to, the way the ballot measure was written, it's got to be allocated in chunks.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah, so.
I get it.
okay,
Do you
Debbie,
need a motion?
yes,
I move approval.
okay, motion second. Do we need roll? Did she drop off?
She's no longer here, so I can do a
Okay.
reverse
Roll
roll.
call.
Done. Second. Okay. Any opposition?
As long as it's understood that, yeah, there's still carte blanche, ability for the COG to disapprove it for whatever reason. Okay, I will be fine with that.
Any abstentions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. We're gonna move along to senior services. Is there any update there?
There's a meeting next.
No update, but, I can
There's a
give,
meeting Tuesday,
I believe so.
coming Tuesday, yes. So.
But I was also gonna provide an update on the prevention side of La Casa really quickly, the Measure A.
Sure.
In addition to the production, preservation, ownership programs of La Casa, there's the RPHP side, that is the renter protection and homeless prevention assistance. And really quickly, the South Bay COG has become the first jurisdiction to get that program up and running of all of the eligible jurisdictions in LA County. And we've been the first jurisdiction to actually provide assistance, which is a great feat. Me and Ronson have been working really hard with our service provider. We've provided assistance to about 15 people or households. And most of those have been from a current program called Client Aid, as you all know, transitioning their funding to the RPHP pot of funds. But our prevention specialist at our service provider has given assistance to 5 households. So, with your work here today and overall, you're preventing families from falling into homelessness, and we just thank you for your support. And yeah, that's just a quick update there.
I did want to add two things, which I'm forgetting the second thing already. But the first thing is I went at the city manager yesterday. I told them this, and I told the steering committee. The city of LA wrote a letter to La Casa, or to I think it was the supervisors, objecting to the fact they have a new county department, and of the La Casa funds or the new Measure A funds, they're spending $100 million on administration. And they're also spending, I think it's 13 million on data, but the data is not really coming to us to help us.
Yeah. Where is it?
Anyway, so this is I shouldn't say this, but this is gonna be an expose at some point, which is really, hopefully we can continue to do the fine work we're doing and we won't get caught up in all of it. And now I can't remember the second thing.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, we'll move on. We didn't do REAP yet. We did REAP, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so the South Bay Fiber Network, any update?
Not really, the fiber, we should know more next week. I keep saying that. And I'm frustrated, but we should know more next week about whether the ownership is being transferred.
Okay, thanks. Environmental Services Projects and Program?
Yeah, sure. So now the team is walking down. So we did have a very busy week. We did several school events, assemblies in the city of Hawthorne. But we also did a ribbon cutting like last Thursday. Yes, in Gardena. So I don't have pictures and film to show you this week or for this meeting, but probably in our next steering committee, and then maybe even we'll have the video, I think, at the board meeting in February. So we're gonna have a nice video of all the work that we did for the direct install. So I think that's all right. Oh, but it isn't, because I've heard about this program and, we keep talking about it, but we went into this like corner market that's been there for forever, and this owner, and who's been, in the family, he showed us around, and he's got this new water heater, tankless water heater, he's got a new, refrigerator, and I mean, this program is saving him, new outdoor lighting, it's saving him so much money, and it's really tangible stuff. And it was really exciting. It was not just, it was a ribbon cutting. I thought it was really, much better at this night.
There were a couple of other businesses that actually you have helped that came to see this.
Right.
project
Yeah,
that
there
were
was.
talking really well about.
Yeah, there was that one.
The sheet metal company.
Right, and she said that something about the lighting now, the lighting is so good.
The employees are really appreciate and
Yeah.
how it's improved their safety because they got all new lighting.
Right, and it was just really inspiring.
See, I don't do this out.
I think we were on channel 7.
Yeah, the Channel 7 came out. So, I mean, it was really, really incredible. And the kids today, if you haven't seen Alex talk to kids, this was really, really, really fun. And then we haven't had a meeting since the December Energy Awards. And it was really nice to celebrate all the good work your cities have done and do it with your staff. So.
I'll just say one other thing. We did get approval for some training dollars for your city staff to get them some energy efficiency, some certifications. And so we were granted $30,000, and that will probably roll out in the spring. We haven't talked to the cities yet because we have to figure out what that looks like for cities to sign up. But that's really exciting. We just got that money approved.
And I should say that there's a woman, the local representative for the CPUC. She keeps showing up everywhere. She's following us. We told her she could have a desk in our office, but it's really great. She wants to possibly get us a meeting with the CPUC.
This is Nora Gutierrez.
Yeah. Yes.
She also said that she loves what the COG is doing so much that she wants to do a special newsletter article that features our partnership with the SoCal Rent. So maybe we'll get some more money for the cities.
Talk about the government a little bit about, give the teachers $1,000 each. So for our Ramona school get $5,000.
Yeah.
So this today.
Yeah, so for every classroom that was able to go through the process, and they had like 60%, Eleanor can correct me if I'm wrong, 60% of the students in the classroom actually implemented the energy kits that they received, the classroom got $1,000. And so for the one school that we were at, there's 5 classrooms, and we were able to grant them $5,000. But what was the total for the school district?
For the South Bay was $19,000 to 3rd grade classrooms.
Yeah.
Nice. So don't have 8 schools, right?
7 schools.
7 schools.
Yeah.
And the schools that can participate are, they have to be qualified for
Public schools in disadvantaged census tracts or that receive Title I.
Title I funding. So, which actually makes it more available to a lot more schools because of that. Yeah.
Okay, great job. Thank you. We're gonna move along to General Assembly update.
Yeah, I can do it. I'll make it quick. We'll get to the end. Fundraising side, we're doing really well. As of this morning, we're at 54,000. Our annual budget goal is 60, so we're almost there. We've got, as you all know, this is the sports and entertainment year. We've got 4 confirmed speakers, a general manager from the West Rift Hotel, Alan Sanford, who does a lot of events and beach life, that kind of stuff in the beach cities. We were able to confirm either Elizabeth House or somebody from the Redondo Beach Community Services Department to talk about the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. Thank you, Jackie. And then we confirmed Dan Rodman from the mayor's office, City of LA's mayor's office. He's been leading the what do they call it?
The vision,
It's the Office of Major Events, but he went to Paris and looked at the community events and is leading that kind of charge for the LA Olympics. Larry Cosmont is a likely confirmation. And then I think we've also got somebody from Metro to talk about transit and transportation and how you move people around between all of these big events. And we've got a handful of other invites out to the Sheriff's Department to talk about public safety and putting on mega events. I think we have an invite to the Bolt Charger facility.
And this West and the San Pedro, that new development,
West Harbor. And so I think the program's starting to come together. March 26th, West Rift Hotel. Register if you haven't.
And we've sent your cities, each city managers all have a request for an exhibit. We'd love your exhibits to be about arts and culture in your city, but it could be about anything, but that's the theme. And then we've also asked the city managers, and I asked the park and recreation directors, we would love just to have a little star, something there. So we know there are athletes in the South Bay. You know of athletes or entertainment figures or anybody that sort of would add star quality. We'd love to have them come and maybe just, autograph it or be at a picture stand or nothing taxing, but be our celebrities for the day. It's free. If you know of anybody, we will contact them and invite them to come and make them sort of a special star for the day. And so, we know there's football players, we know there's
Ice skaters.
Ice skaters and former Olympiads.
Basketball.
We're looking for former Olympiads,
Volleyball.
beach volleyball, whatever. If you know of somebody, let us know or ask them if we can they can contact us, whatever. Okay, thanks.
Okay, great. Next AI forum series.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but we've been really busy. And I have on my list this AI forum series, and we're going to call it the cybersecurity forum today, part of it, because I haven't had time to do any more than that. We will get back to it. But speaking of the security forum today, there were a couple of you there, and I hope you enjoyed it. I think Derek Lazaro, council member from Palos Verdes Estates, is an expert on this and brought a really good group of people. And I think it just goes to show that if you have a good idea, Derek called me and he said, I'd like to offer this. Please let me know. I think we can all learn these things together, and it's not hard for the COG to put these things on for everybody. So we had about 40 or 50 people between the people in the room and the people online. And I don't know if you want to say anything about it.
I thought, well, it's your colleague who presented, but for me, a non-technical person, our IT manager, because we're so small, is also our director of finance. But believe it or not, it's pretty sophisticated. We get training and all that. He set a trap for us and I fell for it. So I had to take fishing for dummies, I think, for remediation. But for the presentation today, underscored why all that stuff is necessary, and just, they said they tried not to scare us, but it was pretty scary what's out there. And also, it was very, for me, I can understand, I'm not very techie, so it's not dumbed down, but it was plain English.
I have a question. Did Craig want to say anything?
Yeah, so thank you for putting it on. I thought the session was fantastic. It is scary what's out there. One of the things that I took away is we talk about disaster preparedness and the emergency operations centers and all the work we do as cities and public officials. Having a cyber operations center ready to go if in fact there's a cyber attack. I didn't know this, but Palos Verdes Estates was hit. We did have a breach, and I don't know the details of it, but we were able to get ahead of it. And I think we had the insurance company also help us out on that. So got what we needed in a short period of time. But it can happen to any city, any one of us personally or from a public perspective. So I think you're going to have the opportunity to send the slides around. I don't know if it was recorded.
I have a copy of the slides.
We have copies, so we will, was it recorded?
Well, there was not a recording. They requested not to record.
Oh, they, that's not to, so we can send the slides out. Yeah, okay.
And it was, it's the first time I've been around the FBI, so I got out of there okay, so we all do. But thank you.
But I catch something at the end. It said, do not use your laptop at the airport.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
public networks are the worst.
Yeah.
B, you had a.
That was the question. I was gonna ask whether it was recorded. Those that wanted to come like myself that couldn't be there, but, so hopefully. Yeah, the slides hopefully have a lot of information, but if that's all we get.
They also said, one of the people said to me, Chris Kearney said, that if you have a group that wants this presentation, they will make it to other groups. And I think they were talking about the league too, maybe making it at the league. But it was a really good presentation for those guys. And I can get you Derek's number.
Okay, great. We're a little over, but do you want to run through the last two?
Well, the last I have is, I see legislative proposals. Right now, we're working on amendments to the trust. All I can say is that it has been just a nightmare working with the state. You deal with somebody, I don't want to be ageist here, but you deal with somebody that's very young who is on a committee staff, and we're trying to get alternates that are non-elected. We can have alternates, but there's cities that are saying they'd like to find, like experts in their city that would represent them on this board. So we asked for non-elected alternates. So we got to this young lady who said, why would you want alternates at all? And how will we hold the city accountable? And, and I mean, it was like, so it was starting like with Municipal 101, and I have to convince this person. It was just terrible. So what's in the bill right now is that alternates can only vote 75% of the meeting. And what we talked to Ben Allen's office about is taking that out of the assembly because it's stupid. No one else has this. It's this one woman, I think, who feels that we have to be accountable. So this is the only way we can be accountable. As if the state is accountable, right? Anyway, so this has been a problem. And if we had never formed the trust by legislation, we wouldn't have ever had to do this. We could have done all this ourselves. The word moderate, we wanted to put moderate in the trust so that you could fund more housing that would be available to you. And they wouldn't put it in the assembly for a lot of logistical reasons. So we're going to try to do that in the House. I do want to mention this to you because I might be coming back. It occurs to us that these little stupid things we cannot handle from here. And we might just hire a lobbyist to run this bill for us. We've done this one other time when we had a bill that was of interest. And we need somebody to go up and handshake this young lady and say, honey, move up beside you don't know what you're talking about. So we're now interviewing lobbyist firms, and we probably will come back with somebody that can help us. And there has been a discussion about the COG getting a lobbyist in general. So we've asked 2 firms at this point for what it would cost to run that bill and what it would cost to then be our lobbyist. So we'll come back with that probably to the steering committee soon. We also have a bill we've written, but we haven't done anything with yet on micromobility vehicles in the South Bay. While I've got the microphone, I'll just say that I hope you all know that the January 30th meet and greet was canceled. We don't know when it's going to be again. And with that, I don't have anything else except Happy New Year, I guess.
No, B.
I just have a question update. So what is a specific issue that you would want to address in a bill that would be helping the issue with regarding our housing trust?
So the way that the housing trust legislation is currently written, all board members have to be elected officials. Rolling Hills Estates, for example, on the Clean Power Alliance has a former elected official as their alternate to that board. And he developed a lot of in-depth knowledge about Clean Power Alliance. And it's been a benefit for both the city's representation and the Clean Power Alliance itself, having him on as an alternate. We want to replicate that at the housing trust. And the committee staff is getting hung up on how a non-elected alternate is accountable to the public.
Well, I understand, but I mean, is that something we're like paying for a lobbyist? Because they don't charge per issue. They
It's not
charge.
necessarily that's probably the hardest one. It's getting the inclusion of moderate income housing programs into the trust suite of options. That's probably the bigger sell. The legislature doesn't want to focus on anything that's not low or extremely low housing income.
And if it's related to a trust, should the trust funds be paying for that as opposed to the COG, where all the cities are paying for something that benefits the trust and cities are not part of the trust?
That's a decision for the board to make.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if most of the people in the COG are in the trust, then there's not much of an incentive for them to respect the interest of. Yeah,
Well, it looks like it'll come back to the board at some point if it does. So I think at that point we can have that discussion. But for the sake of this meeting, we're going to end it. And we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you.